22. Kolle with a 1-inch height advantage, and the arm length measured from the armpit to the end of the hand. Kolle 25 inches, Ward 23. They both made the 160-pound weight limit when they stepped on our unofficial HBO scales this evening. Kolle stepped in 2 pounds heavier than Andre Ward. And now rules of the bout with Max.
Boy, that sounds weird with anyone other than Harold Letterman, doesn't it? The unified rules tonight, which is significant because usually you see that in a title fight. This is not a title fight. It is a high-profile fight. And Andre Ward is a former Olympic gold medalist, and that's what's unusual.
Andy Kolle set to make his way into the ring. He just celebrated his 24th birthday on Thursday, 2 days ago. He comes into this bout with an undefeated mark of 9-0 with 7 knockouts. And when we spoke with him yesterday, he said, hey, look, the pressure's not on me, it's on the gold medalist. And now, for more on Kolle, let's send it over to Max.
He's nicknamed Chaos because of his personality in and outside the ring, but it's kind of like calling a fat person slim or a short person nosebleed. It's the opposite of his personality. He goes to college at North Dakota State University. Always interesting. You see a prize fighter, especially undefeated kid in a kind of a big fight here. College kid. Now, yes, he's not as experienced in the amateurs as Andre Ward, few are, but he did have 75 amateur fights, and he claims he was 60-15 in those fights. It's a good record. The most interesting thing is both Kolle and his trainer claim he's never been hurt in the amateurs, in the pros, sparring, in the gym, never. So tonight might be a new experience for him.
Yeah, right. Well, his trainer, Chuck Horton, said, well, he's had a girlfriend, so sure he's been hurt, but he did say he's never been hurt in the ring. We'll find that out. You mentioned that he goes to North Dakota State University. He's 1 semester away from getting his degree in criminal justice and sociology. He says he wants to be a juvenile probation officer because he loves to work with kids, Max.
Well, when asked why he was on probation, he says he was in a confrontation with a guy who pulled a knife and he broke the guy's nose, decking him. I wonder if he has an answer for an Uzi, because that's what Andre Ward, it'll seem, is bringing tonight. It's a big step up in competition for him.
Yes, Ward certainly with the speed and the quickness. Andy Kolle from Fergus Falls, Minnesota. He said once a week he made a 500-mile journey back and forth from school to home to make sure he could get his training camp in. And now the 2004 Olympic gold medalist Andre Ward set to make his entry. Born in San Francisco, California, but he resides in Oakland, California. He's married, has 2 young children. And Ward 8-0 with 4 knockouts, and now more from Max.
This is incredible. When I realized this, it really knocked me off my feet. 3 Americans have won gold since '88. Only 3 in any weight class. He is one of them. The other 2, of course, Oscar De La Hoya and David Reed. He was knocked down versus Darnell Boone in November of 2005. He's been hurt in another fight, so there are questions about his chin. Only seen 2 rounds of Andy Kolle on tape, but claims he's not overlooking them. They weren't very impressive rounds, incidentally. I've seen those rounds. And Virgil Hunter, his trainer godfather, has been with Andre since he was 9 years old. There's stability there.
Yeah, his father, Frank Ward, brought him down to a gym and asked Virgil if he could train him, and Virgil said absolutely. You mentioned that he was knocked down against Darnell Boone. He also, Max, was rocked in his second fight in the first round against a guy named Kenny Koss. And there have been some questions about his chin.
You mentioned his late father took him down to the gym. The first thing he told Virgil Hunter, he asked him, can you teach my son to hit without being hit? Kind of reminds you of Roy Jones's father and Roy Jones. And it makes you wonder if the fighter then maybe internalizes some of that concern over his being hit, and so that when he is hit, he falls apart a little bit.
Ward said what he learned from the experience is that he has character, was able to get up, and how he responded to being knocked down by Boone. And all 3 judges scored the round 10-9, which shows how well he came back. And now for the official ring introductions, let's send it in to ring announcer Michael Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Fox Arena here at the largest casino in the world, Foxwoods Resort Casino, as tonight, HBO's Boxing After Dark kicks off its 10th spectacular season, delivering the best of boxing in the world. Goose and Tudor Promotions and Square Ring present the co-feature of the evening, sponsored by Nimirov. 8 rounds of boxing in the middleweight division. Sanctioned by the Mashantucket Pequot Athletic Commission Chairman Joey Carter, Vice Chairman Richard Butler. The 3 judges ringside scoring this bout will be Steve Epstein, Glenn Feldman, and George Smith. And when the bell rings, the man in charge of the action, referee Johnny Callis. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing first, fighting tonight out of the blue corner. He wears the burgundy trunks and weighed in tonight at 159 pounds. Early in his professional career, he stands undefeated at 9 victories, no defeats, 7 victories by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, from Fergus Falls, Minnesota, introducing Andy Chaos Kolle. And across the ring, his adversary fights out of the red corner. He wears the black trunks trimmed in red and weighed in tonight 1 pound heavier at 160 pounds even. In Athens in 2004, as a light heavyweight, he captured Olympic gold. And now as a professional, he too stands undefeated. 8 victories, no defeats, 4 victories by way of knockout from Oakland, California. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Andre S.O.G. Ward.
You ready? Andy, Andre, I gave you instructions in the dressing room. Obviously, protect yourself at all times, but above all, obey my commands at all times. First command is right now, I want you to touch gloves. The bell rings, come out fighting. Good luck to the both of you.
So we're set for our opener, 160-pound middleweight bout. Andre Ward has not lost a fight in 8 years, since 1998. It's 127-0 since, including 8 fights as a pro. Andy Kolle, even though he's 9-0 with 7 knockouts, he's only fought 1 fighter with a winning record. He is definitely in with the best competition that he's seen in his career. Kolle, a southpaw. Ward fights in the conventional stance. Ward, the quicker fighter of the two, look to get off first.
Andy, keep him in front of that.
Lennox, Andy Colle's trainer, Chuck Horton, said they've been working on seeing if they can increase Colle's power.
That's very important, to increase your power. You know, definitely have to throw some jabs out there and work the combinations. That's really important.
How do you go about doing that, though?
Well, definitely practice throwing punches and making sure that your balance is there and that you're generating enough power and that you're bending the legs.
Nice right to the body from Andre Ward. Kolle said they had a great training camp. As I mentioned, he made the journey once a week from school in North Dakota State in Fargo to Duluth, Minnesota. 500 miles. Said he's never felt better. They said they've seen every one of Andre Ward's fight on tape. And Ward, Max, you mentioned that Ward has only seen 2 rounds from Kolle.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's not going to see many rounds at all, certainly none at a professional level against world-class opposition.
Don't punch, don't punch. Step back.
He did not sound very impressed at the fighter meetings about what he had seen, and he shouldn't be that impressed because Kolle has not been overly impressive thus far in his professional career, but he is applying steady pressure here. He does not look like have the look of a guy who's fighting to survive. He's trying some things. He is an undefeated fighter, and guys like that don't know how to lose.
Kolle said he's from Minnesota, and Ward has boxed a couple guys from Minnesota, and he said he's nothing like those guys. So he's here to prove it tonight.
There's a nice 1-2 to the body from Andy Kolle.
Definitely a slip.
No knockdown.
John Callis says no knockdown.
No knockdown, guys.
Nice power shots from Andre Ward.
Andre Ward throws some good combinations, good speed behind his punches. This is the way you want to be, sharp and use your speed.
Just stay alert for the left. He's trying to time the jab with the left, okay? Stay alert. Keep punches low on the right hand. I got you. Keep the punches short and compact on the inside. Keep your hands up on the inside, okay? Landing some good punches. You're warming up good. Take that from him. Keep him short. Now he's trying to duck up under. Okay? So keep, if you see him duck, step to the side of him, okay? All right?
How's his power? Then get your hands up and trade with him. You had an opportunity over here in the corner. You let him off the hook. I like your body work. You hurt him with one good stiff jab. Double it up and then cross that left hand, okay? Breathe when you get a chance, okay? Breathe.
Ward able to land more punches in the opening round, according to CompuBox. 17 of 53 for 32%. Kolle 10 of 59 for 17%. Andre Ward, the 2004 U.S. Olympic gold medalist, getting a lot of support. He's co-promoted by Goose and Tudor Promotions and Square Ring, Roy Jones's company.
Good combination by Andre Ward. He got through with those punches. He's pretty accurate with his punches right now, which is important.
Lennox, are you impressed with how straight that right hand comes in from Ward? It seems to be thrown, not telegraphed, very accurately right down the middle.
Well, that's the best punch to throw in boxing, is a straight punch. It gets to the target a lot quicker, and Andre Ward shows that he's got great accuracy with that.
You saw Max, the scorecard come in at the beginning of the second round. He gave the first round award 10-9. You're our unofficial judge, Max, on Boxing After Dark. What are you looking for in your scoring?
Fran, I gotta tell you, I couldn't resist. I mean, you have to ask yourself every round, who would you rather have been? That tells you who won the round. It's really simple. You know, of course, it's subjective. Sometimes a guy lands harder punches, another guy lands more of them. You have to ask yourself, who would you rather have been? That's the guy you think won the round. And so far, I think it's safe to say we all would rather be Andre Ward in these opening frames.
Yeah, Ward beating Kolle there to the punch, connecting with a straight right. A nice deft move there to get away from the corner.
Break, don't punch. Whoop.
Nice lead left that time by Andre Ward, and Lennox Ward doing a nice job of not ignoring the body.
It looks to me that Andre Ward has definitely got a lot more amateur experience, a lot more experience when it comes to fighting compared to Kolle.
He's also, look, this is a good fighter in Kolle who showed up prepared and is trying to win against a different class of athlete in Andre Ward. And it's pronounced.
Big left hand upstairs by Andre Ward. Ward pokes through with the straight right as well. Kolle trying to get something going at the end of the round, but Andre Ward looking very impressive in the early going.
Keep it clean.
I like that, Andre. Good work. You're really starting to work him to the inside, Papa. You're really starting to work him to the inside with that water bottle, baby. Where's that water bottle?
Water bottle.
Give me a water bottle.
Water bottle.
Good job. How you feeling?
Feel good.
Keep him in the middle, okay? That's where the damage is being done. You got him flinching from those punches? You already felt your power.
We're going to see
times, okay?
Ward's left hook. Very effective.
Keep using your speed. Keep taking him side to side. Keeping him one punch.
Throw straight right hand. Came across with that left hook.
2 rounds ahead, okay? So this is an 8-round fight, all right? You got to touch him hard, son. You got to touch him hard.
Seconds out, let's go.
This is the third of a scheduled 8-rounder for middleweights Andre Ward and Andy Kolle, and the first 8-rounder of Andre Ward's career. Lennox, typically you start out as a professional, you throw in a couple of 4-rounders. Andre Ward just wanted 1 before he moved up to 6-rounders. Talk to me about the differences between 4 rounds, 6 rounds, and then as you make the progression to 8 and then 10 and eventually 12.
Well, once you can do 3 rounds, which you do in amateurs, the 4 rounds comes easy. So you want to get away from that 4 rounds as quick as possible.
Ward firing 4 left hooks in a row, and then he comes back with a great right hand in the midsection.
Plus, in a 6 rounder, you get more money. So I can understand the reason he wanted to move up.
Chopping shot to the body.
Ward, it must be said, is not fighting like someone who's worried about his chin. He's fighting like a guy who's willing to mix it up and take some chances.
Coley's throwing some good punches, but they're not effective. He's not hitting Andre Ward, and you need to hit him. You need to really get him hurt and get him worried in this fight.
Well, there's an obvious difference between the power that we see so far between Andre Ward and Andy Kolle. Ward throwing the harder punches.
Let go of him. Break! Both feet sit up. Nice.
Keep in mind, when Ward won his gold medal, the 2004 Olympic Games, he fought at light heavyweight, 178 pounds officially. He said, though, soaking wet, he was about $172. So he said he feels more comfortable, more natural at 160 pounds. Solid 1-2, and Ward backs it up with another one.
I'll tell you what, so far, Kolle hasn't lied about his chin. He has a good one.
Break! Stop.
He's taken some very, very tough shots.
Don't palm. Break! Don't punch. Step back. Big over his head.
Lead left from Andre Ward, busting through the guard of Andy Kolle, and Ward rattles off 5 shots to the dome. Kolle just outmatched by the quickness of Andre Ward.
Andre Ward showing some great athleticism. You can tell who's the athlete here.
He's also, unlike a lot of fighters we've seen in the recent past who were great athletes, he also has good fundamental skill, doesn't he, champ?
Still to come in the main event, Acelino Freitas, the last time he was here in Foxwoods Resort Casino, he suffered his lone defeat to Diego Corrales, looking for a little redemption tonight against 29-year-old Philadelphian Zahir Rahim. That's coming up in our main event.
Time he touches you like that, you fire back and let him know you're ready for it, okay? That's 3 rounds. That's 3 rounds, okay? You're down, baby, you're down. You got to start giving. Now we got 5 more to get it done, okay? And we got to get it done big. Right. Breathe for me. Start marching them down and throwing them shots. Just don't walk at them like a target, son.
Andre Ward getting the best of Andy Kolle in the power punching division, 22 of 46, landing nearly 50%. Coley's just 7 of 28 in round 3. Kolle said the best thing about his style is that he always keeps his composure. He's in the middle of a hot one right now.
Stop.
Ward is not only the better athlete, as I said, he's significantly more skilled, and the skill is on display. He's also already shed that amateur style. You know, it's difficult oftentimes in the first dozen or so fights of a top amateur's career to really fight like a professional.
Big uppercut that time from Andre Ward. Snaps back the head of Andy Kolle. Lennox, I like the way he stays on balance as well.
He's got good balance. Some of the times he throws combination, he falls in on himself and smothers his punches. But you know, these are things that he's going to overcome as he boxes more and more.
That did look a bit amateurish.
Break! Don't put that hand on the back of his head.
Max, you mentioned you think he's doing a pretty good job of breaking that amateur style. His trainer Virgil Hunter says he always tried to train him in the pro style.
He did fight maturely as an amateur, and even in winning the Olympic gold medal, had to overcome a lot. Had to beat the defending 2-time champ in the first round. Landed 2 punches in the next round to win it right before the bell. Good exchange.
Good left hook by Andrew Ward.
And then lunges in with a straight right. And a chopping left hook.
Andre, don't hit and roll.
Kolle definitely showing his toughness in this fight. He just gets a licking and keep on ticking. He's coming right back at you.
Kolle told us in the fighter meetings, when asked, what would he do if nothing they trained for was working? And he said he's going to do whatever it takes. Give him the bum's rush if that's what's necessary. It's almost at that point where he might want to try that.
That attack might play right into Andre Ward's hands, though. With more hand speed, might be able to lay back and counter pretty well.
Yeah, into Andre Ward's hands, all 8 of them. He must feel like he's fighting 4 guys in there, Kolle.
The power punches just keep on coming from Andre Ward, definitely loosening up as we come to the end of the 5th round. Tuesday, May 2nd, it's the season premiere of Costas Now. Tune in as Bob hosts a special baseball edition with the entire show devoted to examining Major League Baseball's steroid controversy.
Let your hands go. When you hit him with that right hook, you knocked his head off. Hit him with again, okay? Get your shots. If he's moving his head like this, hit his chest. Get him back on his heels, but you're not going to do anything unless you let your hands go. Okay, you got to let him go, all right?
Okay, doing great. Ain't a bruise on you, baby.
Keep breathing deep, baby.
Give me one more.
That hook is looking beautiful, too, huh?
Okay, now when you throw that hook, make sure your technique is right, okay? Good job, good job. Taking some deep breaths. Keep working it, keep working it.
Keep it clean, guys.
Andre Ward, his father Frank brought him to Virgil Hunter at the age of 9 in San Francisco. He asked Virgil to train his son, and Virgil was so impressed. So the kid would show up 5 a.m., train for 3 hours, then go to school, and then come back and do some more work.
Right. Don't punch.
Said he was just mature beyond his years.
Shows great dedication at an early age.
You know, it must be said that Kolle is obviously here as an opponent. This is a showcase fight for Ward designed to make him look good, but he does look good. He's doing what he's supposed to do.
Step back, step back. Well, if you guys are holding some...
And give Kolle this.
Keep him up on
He is still moving forward. trying to apply pressure.
Break. Stop. His head. Break. Step back.
All right, Lennox, we're midway through the 5th here. This is Andre Ward's 9th fight as a pro. Tell me what you like and what you don't like.
Like I said, I like his quickness. I think he's got great moves, great speed, great power. The only thing is he throws punches, he kind of comes in a bit and lays on you.
Sometimes you notice that with very fast fighters early in their careers, they almost get ahead of themselves. Punches will come off the wrong foot, and as you said, champ, they'll smother their own power at times.
But he's doing the right thing. This is boxing. Hit and don't get hit. Shows longevity in the sport.
Andre, keep him in front. No kidney punches.
Tell you what, we laughed a little bit. We smirked when Kolle said he had never been hurt. His trainer, Chuck Horton, said he'd never been hurt ever in a fight. And he is withstanding a lot of punishment here tonight.
Kolle needs to definitely move his head a bit more because his head is straight in front of him. He's not even moving it. He's just absorbing the punches, and later on in the fight, that definitely is going to be effective.
Nice overhand left. Andre Ward on the attack. Great counter right hand, and Ward and Kolle mixing it up to end the 5th round. The last time we saw Zahir Rahim, he took out one of the best fighters in the sport, Eric Morales. But he still feels he didn't get the respect he deserved. Looking for respect this evening when he'll step into the ring with Acelino Freitas in our main event. 135-pound lightweight bout.
Right now is a good, strong offense on this kid, okay? He's going to come running across that corner like he thinks he hurt you. He's just touching you, right? Well, then fire back. Sit down and fire back, okay? Fire back. If he runs off, let him run. Let him run, okay? Get that long jab out there. Breathe for me.
Ward told us he doesn't think he's being moved along too slowly, too fast, just at the right pace. He said he knows he has a bullseye on his back because he's the golden child, Olympic gold medalist.
Right now, Kolle has a bullseye on his face. And you heard in Coley's corner his trainer say, he's just touching you, right? Yeah, Ward's just touching him the way a wrecking ball just touches a building. I thought the last round was a 10-8 round, even though there was no knockdown and no point where Kolle was really ready to go, but he absorbed a real beating last round.
Definitely with that right hand of Ward, he's definitely accurate with it. Coley's definitely not moving out of the way of it, so he's just absorbing.
Right! Andy, don't grab that rope on me.
Big left hand from Andre Ward.
Good, powerful jab.
Break! Don't punch. Come on. Too much hitting and holding from both of you. Break! Step back.
It's another good lead right hand. Just touches the chin of
Don't hit,
Kolle.
don't hit, don't hit, don't hit, don't hit. Don't stay behind. I know, my bad. Go ahead.
And now blood starting to trickle from the nose of Andy Kolle. And there's another solid right hand. That definitely slows Kolle down.
Ward is winding up with that right hand now. trying to get it through. He senses a victory definitely with that right hand.
Kolle's very tough, and Ward does have a suspect chin. And this is the way Kolle's gonna have to win tough fights, just like this. At the same time, he's taking a lot of clean punches to the head. His nose is busted, his eye is closing. Does not look, barring a miracle Hail Mary kind of punch, that he has much of a chance to win. And maybe it's getting close to the time where that corner needs to step in. Protect their fighter from himself.
Kolle cut for the first time. Ward with a beautiful left uppercut, and then some great foot movement. Sweeps around to the left side, lands another left hook.
Ward is doing what he wants now. He's mixing up his punches great.
John Callis says no knockdown, rules it a slip. Kolle's right eye starting to swell a little bit more, and you see him pawing at it.
Breathe for me. How you feeling, kid? Huh? Good. Good? You gonna throw that left hand out there? Huh? You gonna throw that left hand out there? Yeah. Breathe for me. Breathe for me. When he comes across that ring, you throw that left hand like you mean it, okay? Give me that mouthpiece. Let's get a couple deep breaths. Breathe. Breathe for me. Breathe for me. Let me see you. Let me see you. Let me see that eye. Can't see it. Water or something. Listen. Let me see. Listen. All right.
Can't see that eye.
You can't hear me.
No.
Referee John Callis calls an end of the bout at the end of the 6th round, and you heard Andy Kolle say he could not see. And John Callis said the fight cannot continue. Andre Ward scoring a technical knockout in the 6th round.
Did you hear me say he wasn't coming out? Hey, Andre. I told him, Jay.
What'd you think, champ?
I thought Ward looked good. He was able to do what he wanted to do. He showed some good technique in there, throws good right hand. He realized the right hand was bothering Kolle, and he threw it enough. Great solid jabs, great solid right hand. In that last round, he mixed it up a bit and threw some different kinds of punches.
He turned it on in the final 2 rounds, outlanding Kolle 45-17 in power shots over the last 6 minutes of the bout.
I just told him to say it. He didn't say it. He didn't say the 2000.
Lennox, we saw.
This is a headbutt where they clashed heads, and I think that's what really bothered his eye, was that clash of heads. See both of them looking at each other.
You know, but you see Ward also got smacked in the face with Kolle's head. I mean, they clashed heads. It's not as though Ward headbutted Kolle. And because Cole's face was already tenderized by Ward's, well, by both his hands, you know, his broke open a little bit.
So Andre Ward moves to 9-0, and for the official particulars on the TKO, let's send it up to ring announcer Michael Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 complete rounds of action, referee Johnny Callis calls a halt to the bout for the winner by TKO victory, and still undefeated, Andre S.O.G. Ward.
You're going to the wrong one. Going to the wrong.
Mike's around.
You got the wrong one. This. Oh. This is. We got a young lady right over here too. This is.
So Andre Ward and Andy Kolle, a nice gesture of sportsmanship there. Ward moving to 9-0 with 5 knockouts, and let's take you to the final punch stat numbers. And Ward pretty much having his way, even though he threw 5 more punches, but there you see the connect percentage was pretty solid. 153 to 59, 45%. Nice job for Andre Ward, and now here you see the real difference of the fight, the power punches. And there you see Ward landing more than double the number of power punches. And once again, that number, 45%.